Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be digging into a music industry story. It's kind of a cautionary tale, I guess, but also shows how powerful a catchy song can be.
Yeah,
We're talking about Puff Daddy's I'll Be Missing You, Sting's Every Breath You Take, and a daily reminder. A $5,000 daily reminder, in fact.
that's right. It really brings up those interesting questions about music, right? Like, how does this even happen? Like
Yeah.
the financial side of music,
Yep.
and how do artists get inspiration?
So let's unpack this. For our listeners who might not know, we're talking about Puff Daddy, the producer and rapper, and then also Sting, who was the frontman for the Police. So what could connect these two, and how could it be financially significant?
Right, so this story goes all the way back to 1997. Puff Daddy at the time was mourning the loss of his friend Notorious B.I.G. So he releases I'll Be Missing You, which I'm sure many people have heard. It's a huge hit, climbs the charts, the whole deal. But like hidden within this song is a sample. I think many people will be familiar with it. It's the melody from the Police's Every Breath You Take.
Ah, okay. Every Breath You Take, written and owned by Sting. So this is where that $5,000 a day thing comes in, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I'll Be Missing You is a tribute, sure, but Diddy never got permission or the rights to actually sample Every Breath You Take.
He released this huge song, like a massively popular song, and only then did sampling rights come up. How does that even work?
Honestly, it's something that happens more than you'd think. It just shows how important it is to understand your rights when it comes to music. Using even a small part of a song, which is what sampling is, means you need permission. From the copyright holder, that is.
And that usually means some kind of fee or a license.
Yeah.
So is this $5,000 daily payment that Diddy makes to Sting, is it all because he didn't clear the sample first?
Yeah, pretty much. After Diddy released the song, Sting's team, knowing copyright law pretty well, took notice, obviously. And we don't know every detail, about the legal proceedings or whatever, but we do know it ended in a settlement instead of, just one big payment. They decided on this daily payment thing. So Diddy pays Sting $5,000 every single day.
Wow, okay. I don't really know what to say to that, but I guess Sting is making some serious money.
Oh, yeah. It's probably well over $100 million by this point. Interestingly, there's no bad blood between them. Diddy has admitted to his mistake. And, well, Sting once said that those royalty checks were a safe source of income.
Yeah, I bet. You have to give credit to Sting. He knows the music industry really well. But this whole $5,000 a day thing, that's pretty intense. Like, if he had just been careful early on, it seems like he could have avoided it.
Definitely. And I think that's one of the most important takeaways from all this. If you want to make music, knowing how copyright law works is crucial, as is knowing about licensing and that whole world.
Okay, but let's dive a little deeper into that. What does that look like in practice when we talk about clearing a sample? What's actually involved?
Yeah, so it can be a pretty complicated process. But basically, it starts with figuring out who actually owns the copyright. Could be the person who wrote the song, or it could be the publisher, or even sometimes the record label.
So you need to figure out who to even contact about it.
Exactly.
Mm.
Then comes actually negotiating everything. You have to get permission if you want to use the sample.
Mm-hmm.
And that usually means agreeing on a fee, how much you're going to pay. And that's where it gets tricky. See, there's no set price for a sample. It all depends on how popular the song is, if it's, a well-known song. And even the artist has a say. Some artists are really strict about sampling.
So it's not like just a standard fee or something?
No, not at all. There's a lot that goes into it. And that's why there are a lot of different approaches to sampling. Sometimes, like what happened with Sting, they work out a royalty share.
Meaning they get some of the profit from the new song.
Yeah.
So that $5,000 a day is coming from how well I'll Be Missing You is still doing.
Right, exactly. Now, other artists, they might just want a one-time payment, a flat fee. But even that could be a lot of money, especially if the song is really well known.
This is really interesting. It's like this whole other side of the industry, all this negotiating and stuff behind the scenes. When you look at music, sampling is everywhere. Like hip-hop, electronic music, even pop music uses it.
Yeah, for sure. Sampling has really changed music. It lets artists give a nod to artists they like.
Yeah.
You can make an old song new again, and you can blend different sounds, like from different times even. There's a lot you can do.
Right. I bet everyone listening can think of a song where they were like, wait a minute, is that, it's cool because it's familiar, but also new.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's great about sampling. When it's done right, it's like its own art form, but it has to be done right. You have to respect the original artist and the law, of course.
Which brings us back to what we talked about before, knowing your rights, making sure you're allowed to use the sample, all that.
Exactly. The worst thing that could happen is you put your all into a song only to get in trouble for it later.
What would you say to musicians who want to try sampling? Maybe based on this whole Diddy and Sting thing.
I'd say learn as much as you can. Knowledge is power, right? Learn about copyright law and the different licenses of what they mean. And if you're really not sure, talk to a lawyer.
Yeah, that's good advice. Protect yourself, right?
Exactly. And, the Diddy and Sting thing, it's pretty well known. But it's not the only time something like this has happened. It happens all the time in music. Sampling disputes. Some get worked out, no problem. Others end up in court.
Are there any that really stand out, like that made a big impact or changed how sampling works?
Yeah, there's one. It involved this hip-hop group, De La Soul. Really groundbreaking group. And this band from the 60s called the Turtles. So De La Soul, they sampled one of the Turtle songs. It was for their track Transmitting Live from Mars. But they didn't get permission.
So kind of like Diddy and Sting then.
Yeah, but it didn't go so well. The Turtles sued them, and it went to court. And that whole thing, it set a precedent for sampling in hip-hop. Basically, it made it clear that you have to get permission. And it probably made it more expensive for artists, too, if they wanted to sample.
Wow, that's crazy. Just one case, and it affects the whole industry.
Yeah, it shows how much things change. What flew back then is totally different now, especially with technology changing so fast. And how we listen to music, too.
That's true. Like, streaming has changed everything. How does that even work with streaming? For artist rights, I mean, and samples.
Right. It's a good question. Because there are billions of streams every day. And you have to think, if a song has a sample in it, the original artist, they deserve something, too. They get royalties. But keeping track of all that, making sure everyone gets paid, it's a lot.
I bet. So many songs, so many artists.
Yeah, it's a huge job. And honestly, people are still figuring it out. Like, is it fair? Is everyone getting what they should from these streaming services? Especially older artists and the people who write the songs.
Makes you think about what goes on behind the scenes, huh?
For sure. It's easy to forget because music is so powerful. You connect with it. But the business side is important.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this has been really interesting. A look into the music industry, all the legal stuff, and of course that $5,000 reminder for Diddy every day.
It's really about respecting the art that came before, right?
Yeah, totally. Thanks for listening, everyone. We hope you learned something today. And maybe next time you listen to music, you'll think about this a bit. See you next time.